Hey guys, what's up? Welcome to today's video. We are finally gonna do it. We are going to dip into the bad bin. That is right. Well, this is more of like a bad bag. I have had this sitting on my floor right next to my filming setup right here, collecting product that just absolutely sucks. There are some items that I have returned as well, and we are going to give them an honorable mention. Again, they are returned, so they are no longer with us. They were so bad, I just could not fathom holding on to them. I was able to return them, so that is exactly what I did. I have a couple of palettes in front of me as well. I just think that sometimes it is very beneficial to talk about the items that don't work as well. Money is not something that's easy to come by these days. We are all on a budget. None of us, at least no one I know, or myself included, have this expendable budget where we can just blow our money on whatever product there is, and if it sucks, just kind of toss it to the side and think that it's not a big deal. Obviously, sometimes I do end up doing that because I review makeup, so I do invest a lot. 99% of what you see on my channel I purchase with my own money, so yeah, I do waste some money sometimes. With that being said, let's just go ahead and jump into it. Let's see what I got in this giant bag right here. First off, I got a little bit of heat for this product, but you know what? I really do not care because it is just not good. This is the High Tides and Good Vibes palette from Tarte. This palette was a total fail for me. The packaging, beautiful. A+, absolutely love it. The color story, again, A+, absolutely love it, but that is where it stops. The formula is horrendous. The pressed glitters are extremely oily, and they're just not as vibrant once you get them on the eyes. They look so beautiful and bright and glittery in the pan, but they get like thick and pasty. Tati talked about this and she actually really liked it, but for me, sadly, it just did not work. After I did that initial review and video on it, I did try to make it work again, and I was just so disappointed. This palette had so much damn potential, and they just failed. They failed, screwed it up. Bad bin, pass. I should have returned this. I just never got to it and never had a chance to. Let's talk about some more eyeshadow. I have a couple of eyeshadows from CoverGirl. This is the True Naked Smoky palette, and this is one of their just quad pan palettes. This is the 215 Country Woods. This palette isn't the very worst palette I have ever tried. There's just way too many shimmers in it and not enough matte shades to work with. In fact, I think that the majority of this is just a satin palette. The only two, what I can say, true matte shades in here is this gray and this black shade here. Obviously, you don't need a ton to create a black smoky eye, but if that's all you're interested in creating, that's really all that this palette does. It's just not enough of a wow to me to actually say, oh my gosh, this is an awesome drugstore palette. Makeup has come so far, even since I was like in high school, you know, or when I was younger. It's gotten so good. Brands like ColourPop, Juvia's Place, and some of those other affordable palettes, Morphe, they make such beautiful formulas for the most part. It's just, to me, it's like, where are we? There's no excuse for this. This one here just has absolutely no pigment in it at all. One of the shades actually cracked and crumbled. I don't even know why, because obviously I haven't traveled with it or done anything with it. It's really too bad because, again, if you're looking just for like a basic nude matte palette and you just want to have those essentials, this would have been fantastic. But again, it failed and fell short because there's no pigmentation, and this one is just too much of the same. Blah, pass. Moving on, I do want to talk about, I'm going to get all the eyeshadows out of the way. Let's do that. I have in front of me from Morphe, this is the 35G Bronze Goals palette. I did a review on this on my channel as well, and a dedicated review. I loved, oh my god, the Glamour Bronze Bronzer that launched with this collection is my go-to. I have it on right now. It is hands down the best freaking bronzer. It's seriously all that I use. I am so obsessed with it. It is fantastic. But this palette was a major disappointment. The metallics do not work for shit unless you actually scrape a very thick top layer off. And once you get in there and start using them and you get a little bit of oil from your fingers or you dip a brush in there, it kind of repacks itself, it feels like, and then you have to go ahead and go in there and scrape all over again, which is just too bad because I love this layout. I love the color story. I am a sucker for a bronzy matte palette. I was able to create a beautiful look with it, but it's just those shimmers. I was so disappointed in the formula. The Jacqueline Hill palette is so good. Even I liked even her Vault collection. I thought that that was fantastic. It just happened to work beautifully for me. Sorry, you guys, I have my fan on. It's like blowing baby hairs in my face and itching the hell out of my nose. But I absolutely love that. The 35G palette, the Such a Gem, or was it the 35S? I can't remember. This is the 35G. I get all the damn 35 numbers all messed up. The Such a Gem palette, the last Morphe palette I reviewed on my channel, beautiful formula. Oh my God, it's like, well, what happened here? I almost wish that this could be reformulated and relaunched, or if they could do like a Bronze Goals Part 2, but it's just too bad. Now the mattes in here, fantastic. I held on to this because the matte shades in here, to die for. They are beautiful, but overall, can't say it's worth the money because half the shadows just aren't that great. Now, this might surprise you guys because I actually ranted and raved about this palette for a short period of time, and it's because I love half of it. This is the Tarte Clay Play Face Shaping Palette. I don't even think they make this anymore. I'm pretty sure it was discontinued, but I was obsessed with the shadows in this palette. For an everyday look to just contour the eyes, fantastic, absolutely love it. And I actually used the crap. I used the crap out of this. I actually hit pan in this smoke shade. I used that to fill in my brows for the longest time. My issue with this palette is these down here. These just do not blend. The bronzer shades, I tried so hard to use them. The second you'd set it on the face, it would just sit there, and wherever your brush would touch, it would just cling, and you'd have to blend and blend, get a clean brush, dip into some setting powder, some translucent finishing powder, and you'd just be in there just trying to blend to the point of where your wrist, you felt like you're about to get carpal tunnel, and it just wouldn't blend. So it's really unfortunate. The idea behind the palette, this could have been so good, but sadly only 50% of it was worth it. Beautiful packaging. High-end mirror in here, but yeah, such a damn shame. Moving on, this one I am so beyond bummed about because I actually love this product. Something very odd happened to it. The Melt Cosmetics Smoke Sessions palette. I have no issues with this formulation performance-wise on the lid. I saw so many other comments, people saying the same thing. If you guys can see my mirror here, these shadows, again, this is something that sat tucked away, protected in my drawer, in my beauty room, which I keep at a very cool temp throughout the winter. Obviously, there's not much heat that comes in here. All of my metallics completely fluffed up, and I am unable to repress them. I have tried. I do not know what happened here. To be honest with you, the formula was pretty fluffy to begin with. When I first reviewed this item and I first got this palette, I did notice that. But my goodness, what a disappointment. This palette was not cheap, but it sucks because I was obsessed. I'm obsessed with the color story. The greens in here, the green metallics are like none other, like no other green metallics that I have ever used. I loved this palette. I love the inspiration behind it. I love the name. Everything was so good. The formulation spot on, made in the United States. Sadly though, I don't know, other people were telling me that I should have wrote to them and let them know, but whatever. I don't think there was much that they could do for me at the time. I know this palette is available now, but when I first discovered it, this palette, I feel like I'm too far gone. I'm too far gone at this point. All right, so some brow products I want to talk about from Lime Crime. I have the Bushy Brow Stronghold Gel, and I also have the Bushy Brow Precision Pen. My problem with the gel is that it dries down way too quick. I do have larger brows. I have a lot of real estate here, and when I am brushing this through and I'm trying to get my hairs defined and fluffed up and get a good coating on all the hairs, unfortunately it just starts to get stiff and cakey and thick and just gross. It's just too much of a quick drying formula. The Bushy Brow Precision Pen, just really kind of strange. I felt like it looked weird. This kind of thing is just not my deal. It's not really my speed. And maybe that's just me personally, but I don't know. I might want to try to play with this again because I think a product like this can be really cool, especially if you have really sparse brows. I'm not really quite sure, actually. Why did I put this in the bad bin? I'm sitting here using it, and I'm getting some nice precision out of it. I completely forgot. It was in the bad bin for some reason. I'm gonna have to play with that one again and see what was up. Let's move on. These I was actually going to review on my channel. I was gonna do a giveaway with them. I don't know why. I was pretty confident in purchasing extra of a product to do in a giveaway for you guys, considering I had never even tried the formula before. But this is from Wet n Wild. This is their body luminizers, and I bought them in a 3-pack. They look so beautiful, but the smell, number one, is horrific. It's like this very, very intense rose scent. My problem with it though is that usually I like the way rose smells. I don't usually have an issue with that. But for however it reacted on my skin, it almost smelled like celery powder. Is that weird? That's literally the only way I can explain it. I'm sorry if that sounds really strange. It just kind of had like this very odd, earthy smell on top of the rose tone. And the oil is very, very thick in this. Look at how this separates even. It's just such a thick, dense formula that doesn't really ever absorb or dry down. I mean, it almost looks like there's like olive oil in this. That's how thick it is. This one I didn't even bother opening, as you can see, to try because I went in with the darker one and this beautiful rose gold color one, which is just a shame because this one looks beautiful on my skin tone. I just can't get over the scent and how heavy it felt on the skin. Bad bin, total pass. Another Wet n Wild product, the Photo Focus Stick Foundation. I loved how this looked on my skin. It was so dewy and hydrating and beautiful looking, but unfortunately, upon further investigation, there are so many oils in this stick. It's just absolutely awful. It clogged my pores. I got really deep comedones. In fact, I even got some cystic acne from this product. I did update you guys in the comment section and I did let you guys know about that, but oh my goodness, did it just end up not working out very well, which again was disappointing for me because I absolutely loved the finish and how it blended out. Which brings me, let's talk about the Irregular Photo Focus Foundation. This has made its way into my bad bin before and I'm just gonna mention it as a side note. I don't even have that product because I got rid of it so long ago I threw it away, but the original Photo Focus Foundation looked like complete dog shit on my skin. Total ass. It was so bad. I looked so old. I could never get my shade right. Everything just always looked milky and pasty, separated on the skin. Just total train wreck. Awful. Awful, could not stand it. Another foundation that is not in my possession because I did purchase it from Ulta, so I could return it because I hated it so much. And another one that I reviewed on my channel was the Can't Stop, Won't Stop Foundation and Primer from NYX. That was also a train wreck. It just wanted to grab on every area of my skin. The second I would touch that foundation to my face, it wanted to stay right there. Didn't matter if I used a brush or a sponge, and that primer that was supposed to go with it made it even worse. Dry as a desert, totally awful formula for me. That was another pass. Let's move on to what is actually back in the bag again. I actually have 2 more foundations to talk about before we move on to other products. This is an item from Tarte. This is their Shape Tape Hydrating Foundation. Now, this looks beautiful on the skin on the initial application, but it does not wear well at all. It breaks up, it starts to look patchy and just weird and cakey on the skin after just a few hours of wear. It kind of just wants to slip and slide everywhere. I didn't try the Shape Tape matte version of this. I didn't even try the reformulated version of it because I saw reviews on that as well and I just saw nobody really liked it, and obviously if I didn't like this one, I probably wouldn't have liked that one either. I wish I would have returned this. Look at this. I even kept the box. I tried using it a couple of times. Awful pass. Another one, the Lawless Woke Up Like This Flawless Finish Makeup. Another one that is very heavily oil-based. Does look really pretty on the skin, but it separates. The formula is very strange. I don't know if you guys can see this, but there's almost like white marbleizing or marbleization, if that's that's even a word, happening on the inside of this, and it oxidized like crazy. It's just really strange. It looked very heavy the more that I wore it, and I think that is attributed to all the oils that are in this foundation. Again, one of those that just looked so beautiful on the skin to begin with. Very, very much of a disappointment because of the clean ingredients in it. I am a huge fan of clean, quote unquote, makeup, but this one just didn't do it for me. A lip trio. This is something that I actually got in a beauty subscription box. I can't remember which one it was. This is the Bella Pierre Kiss Proof lip set. I believe it's what it was called. I don't even have the package for it, but it came with these 3 items. It actually was supposed to be able, it was an ombre lip kit. That was it. It came with a liner, the darker red shade, and like this pink shade. These feel like pure stickiness on the lips. If you guys have ever tried a matte lipstick that doesn't ever dry down, that is exactly what this feels like. The lip liner, this whole thing just didn't make sense to me. The lip liner looks quite red, but then when you actually swatch it, it gets like this really like pinky undertone. And then next to the red liquid lipstick that comes in this, look how dark that is. If you're creating an ombre look, you would want the lip liner to be somewhat darker, the darker lipstick shade to be somewhat the same, and then you'd want a lighter shade to fill in the center with. So these two, like the liquid lips themselves would work, but the liner, this just didn't make any sense to me. Not a good product. Doesn't feel comfortable on the lips whatsoever and was so hard to get off. Ugh, the worst formula. Speaking of some of the worst liquid lipsticks, sadly, despite how delicious these smell, the Lait Chocolat or the Lait Chocolat, however you want to say that. I'm not French, I'm sorry. These are from L'Oreal. This is the Infallible Pro Matte Liquid Lipstick. Same thing. They smell like brownie batter. Absolutely intoxicating. I want to eat it. I have the shades 70% Yum and Bittersweet. Beautiful brown shades. I love brown and brow grayish lipsticks. Oh my God, these smell so good. But again, they just felt like they never dried down. Very disappointed because a whole line of brown lipsticks is right up my alley. And I was so excited for these. I remember when I saw them on display at Target, I wanted to buy like all the shades, and I'm glad that I didn't because again, sticky, but if you don't mind a sticky lipstick and you want something that will wear all day, all night through like a hurricane, try this formula out. I will tell you that because it sticks and it is really hard to get rid of. I do have 3 concealers in front of me. If you have watched my channel before, you guys know what is exactly here in this lineup. Let's just get into it. The Tarte Shape Tape, I have the shade Light Sand. I honestly, to this day, cannot for the life of me figure out why people are so obsessed with this concealer. Now, maybe when it launched, it might have been the first of its kind as far as pigmentation, because my goodness, does this cover up any kind of darkness under the eyes. The darkest of dark under eyes would be covered by this concealer, but it comes with a price. This stuff just sits under the eyes. It is so cakey, so thick, and so drying. And it's so weird because it is so long wearing that it really will outwear any foundation. So what happens is I get this weird thing where I have this concealer on and my makeup around it will wear naturally. You know, makeup will fade a little bit as the day goes on, but then I would just have like this pasty, like thick chunk of concealer that is just so stuck in place under my eyes. It looks so weird because it's so drying. It really does feel like a piece of matte velvet tape under the eyes. They're not lying there, but I have tried to love this. I've returned it, I've bought it, returned it, and bought it because I just thought that there was something wrong with me. I just seen so many influencers just go crazy over this concealer, and for me, it is the absolute worst. This was supposed to be a dupe for that. This is the Conceal and Define by Makeup Revolution. Full coverage conceal and contour, the shade C5. This stuff is, first of all, coverage-wise, it doesn't touch Shape Tape. I had to layer this so much, and my goodness, does this crease. It doesn't matter if you bake, you can set it with Laura Mercier, you can set it with the JEFFREE Star Magic Star Powder, because believe me, I whipped this out and tried it with that, and that still didn't help. I've baked, I've set different setting sprays, I have tried everything. this just does not set well under my eyes. It sinks into every crease, every line. It doesn't even help eyeshadow last. That even creases no matter what. I really don't get how anyone even compared this to Shape Tape because it's just not the same. Last but not least, for a concealer, I have the Becca Ultimate Coverage Longwear Concealer. This is in the shade, I believe, Linen. Obviously, this is way too light for me. I actually got this from the BoxyCharm Charm Store. I want to say last year. This is like the thickest, gluiest. It feels like rubber cement. Do you guys remember rubber cement when you were like in elementary school? Maybe I'm just too old for all of you and maybe that's just something that I remember. But oh my goodness, that's what it reminds me of. You get some crazy coverage out of it, but it is sticky. It's like when you're blending it out under the eyes, especially if you use a sponge, wherever you place the sponge, you're going to see demarcation. But at the same time, it doesn't want to blend. It's just the weirdest thing. It feels like actual glue on the under eyes. So gross. It's way too light for me. I had to pick up, again, I got this from the Charm Room on BoxyCharm with my points or my charms or whatever you want to call it. And I had a hell of a time finding my shade, but regardless, even if this was my shade, ugh, such a terrible formula. I do have a mascara to talk about. I did have two of these. Oh, here it is. I do have two of them. This is from Maybelline. This is the Snapscara. When I first tried this, I will admit I did like it a lot. I really liked the shape of the brush. I picked up the shades Pitch Black, and then I also picked up Black Cherry. So the shape of the wand is really interesting, and what I like is that it really does grab the lashes. I also like how easily it is removed. So it's supposed to go on in a snap and come off in a snap. And it does do that, but it just doesn't give me enough definition. It does stay put, it doesn't bleed or anything, other than the fact that you can easily put it on and easily take it off. That's not enough. I need to see some volume. I need to see some lengthening, and it just didn't do that for me. The Black Cherry shade pretty much looks black on the eyes. I don't really even get the point of this shade. It doesn't look like any lighter than the black. It just looks more of like a muted black tone. So, you know, is it the worst mascara in the world? No, but it definitely belongs in the bad bin because I never reached for it ever again because it just didn't do anything beneficial for me. What else do we got in here? Ooh, let's talk about this mask from e.l.f. This is the Pore Refining Peel Off Mask with Charcoal, Witch Hazel, and Lavender. If you want to completely destroy your skin, then try this mask. This hurt like hell. I did do a full review on this, dedicated review. I struggled peeling it off. It dries your skin out like crazy. There's like glitter in it. It is like the strangest, just kitschy, silly thing. I tried using it one other time after I did do a dedicated review on it and never, ever, ever touched it again because it destroyed my skin. It was so raw and red and irritated after. When I would actually peel off the mask, I could see my actual skin. Sometimes people think that their pores are getting cleared out. No, that's just layers, the top layers of your skin being peeled off with the mask. Obviously, it's going to pull something from your pores, but some of that other stuff that you see on there, it's like a really bad exfoliation. So this one, way too harsh, not good, pass. Another skincare item I want to talk about, you guys, I did try Curology and I actually did fully intend on doing a full review on this, but I just never got to it and I actually had to stop using it. I got in about 2 weeks with it and it made my skin go absolutely crazy. Now, obviously there's a purging process when you start new products. I am fully aware of that, but what it actually did is it made my skin burn. I do use straight up tretinoin cream, which I've talked about in my skincare video before. If you haven't checked it out, you definitely should, but I am definitely used to alpha hydroxy, beta hydroxy acids, niacinamides, tretinoin creams, vitamin C's. I've had, you know, intense facial masks done, dermaplaning. I've had very, very light self-neutralizing peels. I have tried a lot. I've had intense laser treatments. This made my skin so sensitive to where if I would even touch it, it would get red and irritated and sore. It was awful. I got rid of the medicated part. I don't even know what I did with it, but this is supposed to be the moisturizer. The problem is that it's not customizable enough. You go through this process of where you go on their website and and you go through your skin type. You tell them your concerns. You even show them a photo of your face, and then a doctor or a PA, a physician's assistant, will put together a customized treatment cream for you. And you have an option to just have the cream, the treatment itself, auto-delivered to you, or you can actually do the full skincare set, which comes with a cleanser as well as a moisturizer. This is not a one size fits all, and this is where they miss the mark. They need to have moisturizers for different skin types, cleansers for different skin types. They claim that it's just so basic that it will work with any type, but that's just not true. Some people need more hydration, some people need less. The second ingredient in this is dimethicone, and it comes before glycerin, which that needs to be switched around. In fact, take out the dimethicone. To me, a moisturizer just doesn't need that ingredient. They say that dimethicone is supposed to create like a barrier on the skin, but for people who are actually acne prone, that can be a problem because it doesn't allow the skin to breathe. At least that's what I have found anyways. So this didn't really help my skin. It made it worse. It made it more sensitive. For you guys, my camera died. We have just a few more items to get through here. These I'm going to kind of lump together. I have a couple of eyeliners here. This one is from Ciate London. This is the Starstruck liner. It has a stamp and an eyeliner on one end. The stamp side itself, which is a little star, is so cute. I absolutely love it, and I think that this is adorable. However, the eyeliner itself is just not that good. It is a felt tip. However, the reason why this one is not that good is for the same reason that the Sigma liquid pen liner is not that good. Both of these are felt tip, and they transfer to the top of the eye. Even if you let it fully dry and set throughout the day, you will notice that you've got black all up in here just from opening your eyes, especially if you have hooded eyes like I do. I have slightly hooded eyes, that you will notice that just from wearing this, it does transfer, and that is enough to automatically make these a fail and put them in the bad bin, because that is the last thing that you would want your liner to do, and one of the worst things your liner can do. Another eyeliner, this is the Lash Paradise Voluminous Liquid Liner. Now, initially when I reviewed this, I did do a dedicated review. I actually did enjoy it. My only beef with it is that it doesn't dry down matte, which it isn't advertised to, but it also dries down way too shiny, I guess I should say. It is so vinyl and shiny, and over time, it kind of crumbles off the eyes. It's just a really strange formula. Again, the pigmentation is there. It is very black, and I do find it very easy to use. It does have like this very interesting, almost like silicone tip on the end here. It's like one of these pen liner deals, this kind of business right here. But again, it's just so shiny, like oddly shiny, and it crumbles off the lid. A brow product, another one from L'Oreal. Geez, I feel like I'm kind of crapping on L'Oreal here, which is insane because I actually love so many of their items. Their foundation is my absolute favorite. I almost grabbed for it because usually I have it right here, but I moved it into my makeup bag that I'm bringing with me to New York City. But the 24-hour Infallible Fresh Wear is just like the best. The full wear concealer that goes with it is absolutely fantastic as well. But this Brow Stylist Designer Eyebrow Pencil is a total fail. Like, look at this. I am pressing so hard. Like, where is the pigmentation here? Like, I have to like press and press and press. It is so hard to use and so waxy, and just doesn't blend very well. I mean, you're gonna end up pulling out hairs. It's not good at all. It's very dry. That's the right way to say it. It's a very dry formula. It's waxy, it's thick. It just doesn't melt. It's not creamy. It doesn't fill in the eyebrows with ease. It's one of the worst brow products I've tried in a really long time. Last but not least, this one bummed me out a lot. This is the Coco Cabana Cream from Sol de Janeiro. First off, I thought at first, I'm like, oh, it smells pretty good, but oh my gosh, even smelling it now, the fragrance in this is just way, way too much. It's like buttered popcorn, and it's just so strong. It says it's a moisture magnet oil and water body cream. I beg to differ. The original Bum Bum or Boom Boom cream is hands down 10 times better than this formulation. This is actually almost drying to me, and looking at the ingredients now, perfume is like the third ingredient. It's just not hydrating at all to me. I layered this and layered this and layered this on, trying to get some sort of hydration out of it, almost being in denial that it didn't work that well. And by then, the fragrance was just built up so much, it was like, gag me. Like, smelling this now, I almost get nauseous. It's just like, way too much. I am so disappointed in this. Total pass. So there you guys have it, some of the items from my bad bin, or that was all of the items I should say in my bad bin. Now that I have filmed this, I can finally get rid of these products, either throw them away, find someone that I can give them to that will enjoy them and give them a happy home. Obviously, some of them aren't even worth handing off to family and friends, but there are some that might be enjoyed by them. Leave me a comment down below. What are some of the worst products that you have tried? Give this video a huge thumbs up if you liked it, share it, and of course, be sure to subscribe to my channel before you go. I love you guys so much, and I look forward to seeing you in the next video. Bye, guys.